Welcome to the 66th episode of the MC Knitting Adventures podcast. My name's Colleen.
And my name is May. Welcome to the returning viewers, and for those of you watching us for the first time, we're so glad you could be here. Today we have lots to talk about. It's been a little while. We've missed you. But before we begin, Colleen will talk about what we're wearing.
So first let's talk about May, because May is all about cowls. This is the Along the Edge cowl, and that is by Kelene Kinnersly Designs. And I had a little bit of yarn left over after making a sweater, and it's Granville Valley yarn, so it's 90% Pima cotton and 10% wool. And it's lovely. It's a little bit bigger than you're used to, but the color really suits you. It brings out your blue eyes.
It is a little bit bigger, but it's okay.
That's good.
It's cold out still.
I know. I thought when we were getting ready, I thought, oh, thank goodness it's a little cold. We can actually wear some knitwear.
But we're into April and it's still freezing outside.
I know.
I mean, the sun's shining and everything, but it's cold. So.
Yeah. It kind of tricks you because it looks like it's a beautiful, nice spring, summer day, but it's -3. So for those of you who are further north, that doesn't seem like much, but for us, it's cool. Exactly. And what I'm wearing is the Belmina by Melanie Rice. And it's another one of those cowls. And it is yarn that is made in Peru. It's Malabrigo yarn. It's Arroyo. And this is Azul Profundo, and it is 100% superwash merino wool. It's DK, and it's really nice. And it's kind of like a shawl, but you don't have to worry about it.
I really like that one, how it sits.
Yeah.
It sounds expensive, that name. Oh, good. Oh, wow. You know, isn't it?
It's Spanish, but there you go.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's what I'm wearing, and next we're going to talk about finished objects. My first finished object is a pair of mittens. It's called the Cindersmoke mittens, and that's by Kalurah Hudson. And I had used some leftover yarn that was the Estelle Chunky. Lovely yarn to work with. And here we are. Do you want to be the model?
I would love to be the model. These are beautiful.
Yes, I really like them. There's not a right and left mitt, but I really like the texture and the way that it comes across. So it's really nice. I really like them.
Yeah, they're
so I
wonderful.
think I may have to make you a pair.
Yeah, I love the feel of them.
Yeah.
They feel like they'd be warm.
Yes, I think so.
And I love how that stitch makes it textured like that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Absolutely.
I'll probably see that on camera there. That's great.
I'm really happy with them. So I guess
so you should.
And my hands are always cold anyway, so even when
I know you wear mitts like
for a long time.
The only time I think you don't wear gloves or mitts is July and August.
That's right. Because May says, oh, it's beautiful out here. I said, yeah, it's really nice, but
feel
my hands are freezing.
Feel my hands. That's what you say. Feel my hands.
That's exactly what I do. That's for sure. So that's my first finished object. Now my next finished object is a shawl, and it's the Bless Your Heart shawl by Nelkin. So this is a shawl that's made with Cumulus by Fiber Spates. So it's 74% baby Surrey alpaca and 26% silk, 74 and 26. Math teacher, I know it needs to add up to 100. So here it is. Now, this isn't something that I'm going to block. It does have beads, so it'll give it some weight.
Feels fluffy.
It is feel fluffy, so it's nice, and it would sit nice under a coat, I think, because it is squishable.
Very light.
It is, and even with the beads, it's light, but I love that the beads kind of give it a little bit of sparkle.
Yeah, the beads are great. And the little hearts again.
Exactly. So this yarn is lovely. It can be a little tricky to work with, but the pattern itself is great at explaining everything you need to do. So
turned out nice.
Yeah, I would use that yarn again.
Yeah, nice. Very
so
nice.
That's that.
It was like a pillow, like.
I know. It's really nice.
It is.
Now, my next one is also by Nelkin. It's called the Presto Cowlo by Nelkin. And the last two finished objects, these were kits. Now, this has not got the lovely, soft, fluffy feel, but this will be warm. Now, this yarn is Jill Draper Make Stuff Ansel, so it's 100% merino wool, and it does have some beads on as well. So it would just be nice to wear under a coat. And
very rustic. I mean, you've got this at this end of the scale,
so
you've got
soft.
This at this end of the scale.
Exactly.
Right?
But the funny thing is, like, I've had this around my neck, and it doesn't feel, like, it feels that on your hand, but when you wear it, it doesn't feel like that.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. So that's that.
See the purple theme going on here?
I know, but we're going to surprise you. So my last finished object, it comes from Cocoa Knits. So that's Julie Weisenberger. And this comes from her sweater workshop. If you get a chance to take it, I would take it. I have the book that explains it, but it was really nice to take the class with her. Now I was just using some yarn. This is the Impeccable by Loops and Threads. And I used it just because I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this, and I just wanted to have it to do the workshop.
Nice.
So what I ended up making was this cute little sweater.
It's so cute.
And I said to May, I'd love to have one of those for me. Like, I like the style, I like the lace that's involved. Just the single button I think is nice.
Now, can you take this little pattern and just expand it up, or is there more to it than that?
There's more to it than that, but I'm going to see, I'm going to take a look at some of the other patterns that I have by Cocoa Knits and see if I could figure out how to put that lace work in.
Great, this is so cute.
Now, we have some people in our life that are having babies, and so we're just...
Not our grandbabies, unfortunately.
Still no grandbabies. That's okay.
That's okay. They're not ready.
They're not ready. We're not ready. It's okay. So anyway, I'm just keep making these little things and tucking them away, and so that should be great. Once they have them, put them in the mail, and away we go. So those are my finished objects. And May, finished objects for you?
You know, since we started doing the craft piece, most of my finished objects are going in the craft section.
Okay.
Because
Okay,
before
perfect.
we used to have finished objects, and then we would go on our ventures, which we truly miss.
Right, we do.
And we're on lockdown again. I don't know if you know that, but Ontario is now on again lockdown for April for a month, unfortunately. But I'm not going to be listening to the news or anything like that. I've decided that's how I'm going to cope. I'm trying to be positive, and
You're doing a good job.
keep up with finished objects and stuff like that. But yeah, it's going to be tough, but we'll try and be positive.
We will. And so my job is to screen the news. So I'm only going to give her, this is when you get to go get your vaccine. This is the good positive story. So I'm the news screener.
Yes,
is my job.
I only want to hear positive things. And I told my mom today on the telephone, I said, I'm only going to watch Pick a Puppy. You know that show where you have little puppies?
It's a great show.
Yeah, I'm only going to watch Pick a Puppy because that's all I can cope with right now. Because it's been over a year and we're still on lockdown, and I'm just going to spend my time in the garage, and so that we can look forward to going on to our adventures soon again.
Exactly. That will be great. So next we're going to talk about works in progress. My first work in progress is a sweater that comes out of the Cocoa Knit Sweater Workshop book.
That's a nice book.
It is a beautiful book, and it is an incredible book because it explains everything that you need to do to make the sweater. I am so glad I took the actual workshop though. That was really good. But the book is excellent. So having done both, I really felt confident in going in and doing it. So the sweater that I'm doing is called Lizzie. Perfect. And so it's like that. So it's kind of a short sleeve. You could make it long sleeve. It's a fingering weight, basically cardigan kind of thing. It doesn't close, so it's okay. But I did a good job. I did my swatch. I did everything I was supposed to.
Again, this book has got great photos in it.
I
love the
beautiful
photographs.
photos. So I'm not going to explain all about how it gets all put together. I will explain my life is a bit of a mess. So as I mentioned,
It's complicated. Is it complicated?
A little bit. So it is Malabrigo sock is what it is. Now the reason why it looks more complicated than it is, I'm busy working on this sleeve, but I have to have, that's for the other sleeve. This is just to keep going. So I have to alternate skeins to make sure that it doesn't pool, doesn't do anything. But I'm really liking the fit of it. It has to do with the shoulders. Ends up being a little bit like, I think Julie called it English tailoring, so that the shoulder seam doesn't sit right on top and be bumpy there. So I'm really looking forward to this. So I'm just going to keep, now I'm just knitting because I have to knit back and forth. So it's knit and purl, knit and purl. But I want to get through the sleeves first, and then I'll just continue knitting the body, and that's going to allow me to knit as much body as I can.
I see.
And then I'll get the length that I can.
Love the color of this one.
Yeah,
it's not purple, but it's got different blues in there.
It might be called Inkwell. I can't remember
Really,
exactly.
it's lovely.
Yeah, I'm really, really happy
It's even
with
got
it.
a little bit of black, I think, like a
Yes.
dark black there.
Yeah, so it's going to be nice for summer
Nice.
just to throw over your shoulders. Now,
Well,
as I said,
I'm
we've got
glad you
lots
had
of
to
things
figure this
attached.
mess out.
Lots of things attached, but I'm really enjoying it, and there's more patterns in that book that I want to
You
try.
always like a challenge. That looks like a challenge.
Yeah, well, it is. It's actually not too bad, but it's the
But it's not a
alternating
beginner.
skeins.
It's not a beginner.
No.
No.
No, not to start with. I think part of it is I have to alternate skeins, and it just makes life a little bit more interesting.
I see.
There you go. So the next thing I've been working on is called the Cherub DK Lopez Island Pullover by Shannon Thomas. And it does use the Cherub DK by Cascade Yarns. So I don't...
A little less complicated, this one?
A little less complicated.
This is cute. Soft.
It is nice and soft. So I'm just making a little white sweater. It's going to be a pullover sweater. It's got some nice texture on the side, so I really, really like that. That comes down in the raglan increases as well. So once again, I'm going to make it, tuck it away, and then...
I love that you finish stuff. Now, knitters, do they generally start knitting stuff and then put it away, start knitting, or do they have a project and you finish it, or does it depend on the person?
Some people may have 36 works in progress.
Oh.
You know, because they just want to start something new, and I totally get that. And some people are what they call monogamous knitters, so they just knit one thing until that it's done. I like to have a few or 3 things on the go because it allows me to maybe do the challenge of a sweater and then come back and do something that isn't quite so challenging. Or sometimes I'll do some knitting or and a pair of socks, but something bigger, and then I might do some crocheting just so that my hands don't get tired.
And just a little bit of news before I forget.
Yes.
I was on the line. I'm always on the computer lately because we're home.
Yes, we are.
I heard that Michelle Obama is starting to knit, so we can welcome Michelle Obama to the community.
I know, I was so excited.
Hello, I hope Michelle watches our podcast. She might get some good tips from Colleen.
There you go.
But she said she wants to knit sweaters and she wants to knit socks and she's going to retire. So there you go.
Okay.
Welcome, Michelle Obama.
I'm glad you had that little piece of news.
Yeah.
All right, so that's that. Now my next work in progress is not knitting, it's crocheting, and it's the Dragon Belly Shawl by Johanna Lindahl. And I have made this. I have made it into cowls. I have made actually a whole shawl. Now this, I'm almost to the end of it all. I just have a little bit left. This is Barocco Modern Cotton DK. And do you think I could find the ball band? No, I could not. But that's okay. No, not right at the moment. I have 2 of them because I put them in the same bag. So
I like
somewhere.
this. This is
I
kind
do
of-
too.
I like the feel of this.
So this, I had bought this yarn in a kit. We had been to a yarn store and I bought it in a kit. But when I went down into my stash, as one does when it's a pandemic, what I did was I looked at the shawl and it was very lacy, but it was huge. And I'm thinking, no. So I decided I would just do this, a little bit of crochet, nice and open work. This would be nice for
Oh, so this isn't
going
knit,
for
you crochet
I
this.
crocheted it. Yeah, I really, really like it. So
I
I'm
like
just
that, yeah.
working on the edging. I may be close to being done. There's an optional 3rd row in edging, and I'm not sure whether the option's going to go. But
I really like this color too.
I really like it too.
Yeah. I think it's more me.
We're not talking about it. But you know what I could do?
I like that stitch. I like that.
Yes, and I made cowls for our mums.
Oh.
Probably about a year ago I did that. So I could easily get, do you like the feel of this
Yeah,
yarn?
I like that, yeah.
Okay, because I could try and get some more of that and then I could make you a cowl.
Oh no, don't buy any more.
It's always, she's a little scared.
I am scared.
When the doorbell rings.
Well, when I say let's take a video of your stash, Colleen's like, no.
No, we're not doing that. We're just not doing that.
That's a sign.
That is a sign. All right, my last work in progress, which is pretty close to a finished object, but not quite, is the Hipster Light Shawl by Joji Locatelli. So I had knit the Hipster shawl, I think it's worsted weight yarn, and it's lovely, but you needed 3 skeins, and so when I saw the Hipster Light, I thought, okay, well, let's see how much, but it's 1 skein of fingering weight yarn, and I thought, well, that would be great for the summer. So just having something that's open work, and I did like the pattern of the Hipster. So then I went into stash, and this is lovely yarn because we bought this in Ireland. When we were there.
Feels like a long time ago.
It is. So this is Townhouse Yarns. It's Clarendon sock, so it has superwash merino, cashmere, and nylon. And so here it is. So understand that this is not...
When you say Ireland, it just makes me homesick for our adventures. I just want to go on our adventures again.
Exactly.
But soon, the pandemic won't be forever, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Oh, look at this. It's beautiful.
There we go. So it does need to be blocked. I said to May, I have this image of, hopefully I can pull it off, of having this wrapped around my neck with the jean jacket on and having
Well, there you go. You can pull that off for sure. You're not that old yet.
Getting there.
Yeah.
Getting there. But anyway, I'm really, really happy with that. Now, the pattern itself...
This is a very different shape.
It's a crescent shape.
Oh, it's lovely.
I'm really happy. So it does need to be blocked. I'm looking forward to that. And that'll
look
open
great
that up.
with a jean jacket.
Now, I have this much yarn left, which isn't too much left. And that is to make small little tassels across. So I know the pattern tells you exactly what she did, what Joji did as far as how much yarn. I ended up having to rip out a little bit because I thought I have not let myself enough. And I thought we had that conversation about putting them on. And I think it would look nice.
Yeah.
So somehow this is going to work. I'm going to make that all happen. So that's that. Now, the one thing I want to mention, just excuse me for a second, is that I decided when I started this that I would pull out my Knit Pro Zings. And these are, it's an interchangeable set, which happens when the pandemic is. It just magically, you think, oh, I could have an interchangeable set. Because I'd heard lots of people say how lovely they were. So I wanted to give them a try. Now, these are great needles, and I really enjoyed working with them. The cord has a little bit of memory, but it wasn't an issue when I was dealing with something like a shawl. The only thing that was a little bit tricky is the fact that this color kind of blended in with that color. And there's some black in that yarn, and so every once in a while I'd think, is that 3 stitches? Is it 2 stitches? But it was fine. It just had to do with the color that it was working with. But the needles themselves, I can totally understand why people like. Depending on where you buy them from, they're either Knitter's Pride Zings or Knit Pro Zings. But they're lovely. The tips are lovely. The needles themselves are nice and smooth and slick. I really, really enjoyed them.
Good. There you go.
There we go.
Those are nice. I like the color.
Yeah, we can get you knitting some more.
Yeah, no.
So those are my works in progress, and next we're going to talk about our craft adventure.
Welcome to our craft adventures. And you know, honestly, I don't know what you've been up to. I've been so busy cleaning out the garage, which I'm going to take pictures of, by the way. I'm going to take a before and after picture because
that would be fantastic because you worked
it's been
really
quite
hard.
a project, but I can do that next podcast. You'll see.
Perfect.
I'm kind of embarrassed to show you the before because in the winter what we do is we throw stuff in there and we don't look at it for 4 or 5 months and then it's like, So that'll be next week. But so I've really been so busy, Colleen. I honestly don't know what you've been up to.
Well,
which is a terrible thing for me to say, really. I should know.
Well, there's been a little bit of knitting going on.
Yeah, well, I know you're always knitting, but in between you've been doing something. So let's have a look.
So I am part of the Lola's Choice Club with Laura Nelkin. Beads, knitting, we like it. And what came this time was that Luceta. And so it comes as a whole kit. And this one actually came with a Lucet, which I think I'm saying properly. So the idea is that you get the pattern, and it ends up being this long necklace. And there's instructions to do it either with the Lucet or as an I-cord. And I'm going to try another one with an I-cord. I thought I would just dive in and do this.
I've never heard of a Lucet before.
So it looks a little bit like a tuning fork.
Do they always come that size, or?
I don't imagine. So no, there are bigger ones. I've seen bigger ones.
And so, what are they for?
Well, what they do is they make a cord.
Oh.
So if you can see, so it makes this, I'm busy working on the cord. I'm getting close. And so obviously there's some beads involved because that's what Laura Nelkin does. So I'm making this long cord. It's got some fancy little beads at the end.
Right.
And so what's going to happen is, and there is a silver circle that goes in, which is somewhere in my life.
I could make that Lucet with my scroll saw if you could, if
I would love that.
Yeah.
There you go.
If you could use one.
I could.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So this has been fun. little challenging. You kind of start, rip out, but it's not that big a deal. And then once you get going and you understand, if you weren't putting the beads in, but she has you alternating where the beads are, and so it's just a little bit tricky.
Now, what is this about being? A necklace?
It is a necklace. Oh. So I'm actually going to make you one.
Oh, nice. I like it.
Yeah. So I'm going to grab some yarn. This yarn is 100% mercerized pearl cotton. So I can find cotton, and I'm going to make you one as well. I get some beads and make you one.
Is this tedious, or is it pretty
You know
good?
what? It's kind of meditative, right? Because you have to do so many rows, and then you throw on a bead, and then you do so many rows and throw on a bead. And so it's really quite, once you get the beads set up, it's good to go. And Laura Nelkin always embeds videos in her patterns, and it's so helpful. So when I would think I was stuck, I would go back to the video, and it's really, really
I'm such
helpful.
a visual learner too. Like I know for my miniatures, I get written instructions. Well, you might as well throw them out. So I like to see video. So
yeah. And the nice thing about this, I think these would be great Christmas gifts. I mean, I wouldn't make them all this long.
The necklaces are the loose. I like the loose thing.
Okay, but if I hand that to people, they won't have a clue what it is.
It's like me, I don't have a clue what that is.
Unless they stick it in there.
Yeah.
But I think these would be great.
Yeah, they would be a nice gift.
Just a nice little
Yeah,
necklace.
if you enjoy making them, why not?
I do. Yeah, that's good.
That's great. Anything else you've been up to?
Yes, one more thing, and you were of help to me as well.
Oh yes, I remember this one.
Exactly. So, I have decided that when there's yarn left over from socks that I've knit, which I've knit quite a few pairs of socks, what I'm going to do is use it to make a Christmas ornament for
the person that matches the socks.
So these were for somebody, and so that I decided. So Polka Dot Creek on their website, on her website, has a pattern for mittens and a sock and for a little sweater. Miniatures.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to knit a little
so
sweater.
cute.
And I was careful with the striping and organized it that way. So I was really, really thrilled. And then what did I say to you?
May, could you make a hanger?
I did. I said, this would be really neat to hang on a Christmas tree if there was a hanger. Obviously, you'd put another hook through. But, and lo and behold, you were able to come up with something.
I made a little wooden hanger. And
exactly. And she did such a great job. And it just makes it.
Yeah, it
it's
does.
really, really nice.
Yeah, because without the hanger, it kind of looks
like, why are you making this little sweater?
This little thing, and then you put the hanger on it. It kind of gives it another little dimension there.
Exactly. Doesn't it? So I'm really happy with that. So
those would be great on the tree. You could do a whole just tree of sweaters.
I could,
like a theme.
Some people do a whole little garland of those things.
Cute.
It would,
wouldn't it? Little sweater, mitts, hats, and all like that.
All the way across.
That'd be great. I like that.
So anyway, that is my two crafts that are a little different. And May, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been busy, like I said, doing the cleaning out the garage has taken me quite a while. But in between doing that, I have been able to make some more miniature furniture.
Look at you.
This is a little sideboard. And I'm just learning basically how to make the little doors open.
You are so smart.
Of course, it's not going to open for me right now, but
it's just pressure. That's all.
Yeah. Anyway, so that and I have to put the doorknobs on them, paint them up, and that'll be glued on like that.
Perfect.
So I've been making.
That's really nice.
So yeah, in between doing the garage, did that, and then I decided to create this. This was my own little pattern.
Oh, look at this!
I thought everybody needs a TV and little book. Little storage areas. I'm going to put some little handles on these for storage. Great. And I don't know what to do with the TV. Maybe I'll put a program on there like print off or something, or I can just paint it all black.
Oh, either way, it's going to be good.
So I've been doing those little miniatures. Those will be cute on somebody's dollhouse.
Great. Very nice.
And also, you'll hear about this, but you haven't seen it yet. But you hear about this in souvenirs. I bought a new scroll saw.
This is very exciting.
So exciting. I bought a new scroll saw with a new scroll saw stand and everything else, but I haven't unboxed it or anything like that yet. Right. So, but I'm really excited to get into it. And with the scroll saw, I don't know if you've heard of Intarsia. It is where you take a pattern of wood and you cut it into pieces and you put it back together like a jigsaw puzzle after you shaped it and sanded it.
Right.
And I'll give you an idea of this book here. Wow. Now, I used to do this in the past with my old scroll saw years ago.
Right.
And I've done a lot of the things that were in this book,
Right.
but I'm looking forward to starting to do them again.
Right.
Like the raccoon, there's one here, the raccoon, which I really like. I'm going to do that one again.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah. So, and here's something that I've done in the past.
She's amazing, this lady.
Oh, there you go. So what you do is you have a piece of, usually you use different kinds of wood.
Okay.
So you would use a dark wood, like,
Okay.
and a light wood, and you'd have the different shades of
Right.
expensive wood. But at the time, I didn't have the money for all that expensive wood.
Right.
So I used one piece of pine, and I would stain them different
Oh,
colors.
that was really smart.
So this was one of my pieces. It was a dolphin. You just cut out the pattern, and you cut out individual pieces. You shape them, and you glue it back on to a
Wow.
backing.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So I
Very
kind of
nice.
like just doing the pine wood because I
Right.
know how it cuts.
Right.
I may experiment with some different more little expensive
Right,
woods
right.
because now that I know my little wood man
Right.
down the road, who knows? But it still works, you know. But anyway,
great.
I'm looking forward to doing that, and I will show you some projects. And it's just something if you wanted to get into woodworking, a scroll saw, it's fairly safe. It's like a
Exactly.
little sewing machine, really.
Right, exactly.
And you could get into some stuff like
That's
this too.
brilliant.
Once you're hang up your
Exactly.
knitting needles, I don't
Yeah.
know. But
Now, here's something. So we know that there's Intarsia now in woodworking. There's also Intarsia in knitting.
yes.
Yeah, so it's cool.
So there you go.
Same
So,
word, different art, different craft.
Yeah. So
Fantastic.
I'm looking forward to doing that. So that's it. That's my
Craft
craft
adventure.
adventure.
Oh, so next we're going to talk about souvenirs. My souvenir this episode is a book, and it's a very big book.
Did it come in the mail? Because I don't remember that coming in the mail.
It came in the mail, but it came in a box.
It's heavy.
It is
'Cause
heavy.
I would have remembered that.
I
I
know.
must not have got the door that day.
You must. So it's called The Ultimate Stitch Dictionary. It's Vogue Knitting. It says more than 800 stitch patterns, and it is a beautiful book. So you have heard me speak about wanting to do some designing and do some figuring out. So it is my plan. We're going to be locked down, so May's going to be in the garage doing
Woodworking.
so I'm going to try and be in, and I'm going to try and design something.
Nice.
I just have to be brave. I know that a lot of you design patterns, and I just have to try to be brave to do that.
Oh, you'll be able to do
But
that.
this book
You
is
get to-
brilliant.
Yeah,
I am
nice.
so happy. I'm
glad you like
there's
it,
Lots of pictures, lots of
very heavy.
information. Things are
Organized.
charted and also written out. So it's fantastic. I am
Well,
looking
I'm
forward
glad
to
that'll help you
searching
out.
it all
I really
through.
am. Like,
Absolutely.
That's good. That's it. I know you lots more came in the mail. Colleen, come on. That doorbell goes every day.
Wow.
So what else has come in the mail? Oh, there's been knitting. Oh, there's been other stuff.
Yes.
There's been knitting
A little
needles.
bit of
and
makeup, a few little makeup brushes, yeah.
that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that's good.
There we go. Just having a
Okay.
little bit of fun. When you can't get out to the store, you bring the store to you.
I shouldn't complain because some stuff comes for me too.
That's
You know.
true. Okay.
All right, so what souvenir came from me is I bought myself a little lathe. And I'm hoping to make spindles. And it came with some
Fantastic.
little tools.
Oh,
It's like a
wow.
miniature lathe with tools. I have never done anything like this before, but I thought, you know what, if we're going to be locked down, I'm getting a lathe and I'm getting a new toy.
Exactly.
see if
That's
I
going to
can-
be fun.
Yeah, see if I can experiment with that. I don't know how it's all going to turn out, but you just plug this thing in and put your wood in the middle here.
Right.
And then you lathe away. I'll have to read the instructions, but...
Reading instructions is a good
Yeah.
thing. Yep.
So that's my souvenir. That's what I got in the mail. And again, I didn't get my scroll saw in the mail, but I went and picked it up with the stand, so that'll be for next week. But that's it. That's
There
my
we go.
souvenirs.
So, thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate it when you come and hang out with us. If you like what you're seeing, give us a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe. We're up to, it was 875 when I checked yesterday. So we are getting there. At 900, we're going to have some
gift,
more
giveaway,
giveaways. So that's the
I
plan.
want to just say thank you for the comments on my art piece. I got
Yes.
some really positive feedback. So now that you've reinforced me, I'm going to be doing some more art, but I'm going to be doing it loosely because I thought the feedback for this was
It was good.
pretty good, and I appreciate
Absolutely.
that. And so yeah, so loose is my new motto. Well, that could be taken a different way.
That's right.
Art-wise.
Yes, art-wise. Let's just go with that.
So thanks for watching, everyone, and we really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to the giveaways again when we're at 800 or 900.
900.
900.
I know.
Whoa.
Wow, fantastic. So until next time.
You take care.